Thank you. Thanks all of you for attending today's session. And this is Hemal Parikh here from NexInfo. And for today's agenda, we're talking about Oracle Recruiting Cloud, also is an acronym called as ORC, and how it enriches your candidate and recruiting experience. So let's move to the next slide and introduce ourselves, who we are. As a NexInfo, as a company, we are present in Southern California, and we have got presence across the world in Americas, Europe, and Asia Pacific. We are into Oracle space for more than 20 plus years. And from partnership standpoint, we have got partnership with Oracle, SAP, Microsoft, Vanguard, and RFChin. And from the domain expertise standpoint, we are into ERP, supply chain, CX, HCM, and all offerings of Oracle. And we are primarily the business process and software consulting service provider. And we've been accredited by many of the leading agencies like Gartner, CIERP, Inc. 5000, and etc. With that, let's introduce myself and Sadik. So I am an Oracle Cloud Evangelist in Oracle space, and I'm implementation specialist specifically for HCM and ERP applications, been part of multiple business transformation engagements, and I've been also part of many of the Oracle forums with regard to HEUG, Collaborate, OHUG, and multiple regional OTG forums. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Sadik.
Thank you so much, Hemal. Welcome, everyone. Good morning to everyone, actually. Myself, I'm Sadik Basha. I'm the HCM, SME, and Solution Architect. And I'm an Oracle Certified Implementation Specialist for all the HCM modules, okay, with 15 years of experience in implementing SaaS and on-premise solutions for across domain industries. Okay, I've handled multiple projects irrespective to Oracle Core HR and other modules, as well as for the ORC, which is nothing but an Oracle Cloud, Recruiting Cloud. That's about. So Hemal, you can take it on.
Yeah, thanks, Sadik. So before we get into the agenda, a couple of quick things. So one is all the attendees can send the questions to the chat. We'll be taking those questions towards the end. We'll be responding to those. And if anything is missed out, we'll be responding through an email. And before we get to the agenda, we'd also like to have a quick poll to just get a feedback. So what you see a question here, the first, which application do you use or your company uses for recruiting? And if you can pick up which of them is applicable, it is Taleo, PeopleSoft, SAP product line, or you're doing it more like a manual people-based recruiting process, or if you're using some other application, which can be none of the above. So we'll give 15 seconds for all attendees to reply.
And if you are having trouble selecting, which you might, you can go ahead and put your answers in the chat.
Okay. Can we move to the next question, Amelia? Okay. The next question is, how likely are you to adopt a cloud-based recruiting platform in the near future? Likely, will not, and as happy with the current tool what you're using, or not decided or still analyzing. I think let's move forward to the next. Third question, roughly how much time do you spend in sourcing and onboarding? So it can be on an average less than 15 days, on an average 15 to 30 days, or your average tenure is over 30 days.
Okay, and those polls are rolling in, which is great. I would like to go back to question 1 and see if we can try that one more time to give our attendees more of an opportunity to respond to that. So go back to question 1 and we're going to relaunch. Here you go. Go ahead and click which application do you use for recruiting. Give you guys a few seconds. Okay, great. And let's do question 2 just one more time. Question 2, how likely are you to adopt a cloud-based recruiting platform in the near future? So again, we'll give you some time to respond to this last poll as well. All right, thank you so much. We'll go ahead and move on.
Thank you, Amelia. So let's move to the agenda slide, Sadik. So what we'll be covering for today's session is what are the key challenges and pain points most of the recruiting department face. We're also going to talk about why Oracle Recruiting Cloud, and from Oracle's standpoint, what are the different offerings what Oracle provides as part of the HCM application, and where does this Recruiting Cloud fits in. We're going to talk about a use case from an education sector, and then talking about the ORC journey, kind of what are the features and functions which Oracle Recruiting Cloud provides from the system application standpoint, touching upon the integration, how does it integrate with different third-party applications as a part of your overall integrated business process, and then touching upon your analytics, which is dashboards and reporting, which out-of-the-box Oracle provides in the recruiting space, and a brief comparison between ORC, this Oracle Recruiting Cloud, and Telio, both of them being a recruiting product from Oracle. How do they stack up? And towards last, if you want to embark on implementing Oracle Recruiting Cloud, or for that matter, any recruiting software, what are the key considerations that you should be making to make your journey more successful? So with that as an agenda, let's move to the first point, key challenges and pain points, right? So for the leadership, typically the pain areas, what you see is when you see or talk with anybody from recruiting department, from the leadership, they say that the job openings do not close on time. It takes an elongated time. And the sourcing a right candidates is a challenge, and scheduling an interview typically is manual process, or it's a person dependent process and a lot of manual intervention, leading to delays, and the offer initiation is still a manual process. Or maybe the candidate profiles that have been available, they are actually going to trash, and we are not able to make an optimal utilization, right? So that's what typically from the leadership, what you hear as the pain areas. And when you try to get into more details, the key challenges, which typically more coming from the system, what has been used, either it is probably the system is lacking the functionality, or maybe the system is not utilized optimally. And that can be because of difficulty in finding the qualified candidates. You don't have the way or process in place from system to get it. Candidate sourcing and screening challenges that the recruiting team faces. In the process is not optimized, it's broken, or maybe it has got a lot of manual steps and intervention that's been happening, and it leads also the poor candidate experience the system provides. So I think this is what we have seen, or that we would have observed all across many of the customers that we have heard about, and probably I think many of you would have been facing it. So let's see, how does the Oracle Recruiting Cloud fit in? So moving to the next slide, from the Oracle Cloud offering standpoint, so what you see here are the different offerings as the individual stacks or the columns that you see, which Oracle provides. Oracle HCM Cloud, if you're talking about the first being the global HR, which is more about your workforce directory, core HR, your employee records, that's what has been part of the global HR offering. Then the second suite or group of offering is workforce rewards, which is essentially covering payroll, your benefits, your compensations. And the third suite is workforce management, which is managing your employees with regard to your time management, your absence management, your expense and project management related to employees. And fourth is your talent management, and which has got two parts. First being the one that's highlighted, sourcing, recruiting, and onboarding, which is going to be our deep dive as part of subsequent slides, which is also called as ORC, Oracle Recruiting Cloud. This is more for the candidate onboarding process. And the second set of modules or offerings that Oracle provides is for all the employees, how you can manage their talent and performance and career. So with that, moving to the next slide and talking about Oracle Recruiting Cloud. So Sadi, can we move to the next slide? Yeah. Now, from ORC and your core HR, right? Both are the applications which needs to have the synergies, and that's where Oracle provides your shared construct. So as a part of this construct, your work structures, your compensation and salary details, your talent profiles, your personal information and job details. All these are being shared between your recruiting application and core HR, and that's how Oracle is able to provide a seamless integration and data flow between those two applications, or if I may have to say the modules, so that for a business user, the end user, it looks as a seamless integration or seamless integrated application. So now we talk about essentially why Oracle Recruiting Cloud. What is that Oracle Recruiting Cloud provides from the features and functions, and what challenges does it addresses? So let's move to the next slide and talk about the challenge. I think which we talked about with regard to the getting the best talent. So I think, yeah, move to the next slide, Sadiq. What you see here on the left side as a pictorial representation is the features what ORC provides and which actually helps in addressing the challenge that you have, right? The first being your employer branded candidate experience. Now, how to ensure a really good candidate experience, and is there a feature or functionality which can help for an organization to provide a candidate experience which is unique to the entity that has been onboarding the candidate? For example, an organization which is having multiple locations or having multiple org units or operating companies, each one needs to have their own different candidate experience. Yes, ORC can help in configuring the application to have a unique experience for each of those by location or by entity. Providing a comprehensive recruiting experience with robust sourcing. That's another aspect which we just probably talked about, utilizing the shared constructs. Oracle is able to provide a seamless data flow between your recruiting system and your core HR system. And hence, it not only just makes your sourcing robust, but it also provides a comprehensive solution from your HR and recruiting application standpoint. And with that, it also provides a lot of intelligent and data-driven innovating technology, which includes your mobile user interface, your analytics and dashboard, which you're going to cover towards later part of it, which can actually help to make key decisions for your recruiting business department or for overall core HR that can help in streamlining and making the process more optimal for overall organization. So with that, moving to the next slide, talking about the key business benefits that you get, considering ORC being your cloud offering from Oracle, the inherent benefits is your capital investment has been saved because there is no hardware and there is no maintenance of hardware required. Essentially, you're bringing down your IT investment substantially. Second is it's low cost and time to implement. The reason for it is Oracle Recruiting Cloud, and not only that, but I think the overall HCM cloud offering from Oracle is embedded with modern business best practices along with the product. What it means is a lot of features and functions which, considering all the industry needs, have been incorporated as a part of the product design, which includes your security, workflow, like all those basic functionalities that, for that matter, any recruiting department requires is inbuilt, which is configurable and hence to minimize a need of any extensions or customizations. It has got a seamless quarterly patching, ensuring that you are working on your latest software, and hence there is no substantial project or effort required to upkeep of the software because you are getting the latest patches more seamlessly. And also, this application is provided in a user-friendly manner. It's not just a desktop application, but you can also use it through your gadgets, your mobile or tablets or iPads. So that way, ORC ensures a good and easy access for both candidates as well as recruiters, and also ensures the cost of maintenance and the cost of implementing is lesser. So with that, we would like to talk about the use case into the next slide, which is with regard to the education sector. So talking about the scope before we get into challenges, the scope, this is for one of the education customer where we implemented ORC, which is Oracle Recruiting Cloud, along with your core HR, absence management, payroll, and talent management. And the customer was based out of North America. And the key challenges what they had were lack of proper system, leading to increased manual work, having maintaining their candidate profiles in hard copy. So it was more like a manual oriented process. System was not optimally used, and actually they were not efficient from the system standpoint. Functionalities also which they can adopt, and which led to also elongated sourcing and onboarding process for the department. And even the paper approvals, which are manual outside system that were happening, and the overall process was pretty cumbersome for them. So as a part of the outcome project outcome from the success that ORC implementation helped with is improved candidate to hire process through ORC's native integration, automated integration with third-party applications for their background validation with regard to assessment, etc., and able to utilize the dashboard to make improved visibility for the leadership and able to make right decisions at the right time. And overall reduction in the overall job offer templates through consolidations. They were having a lot of different templates, and they were able to systematically consolidate, but still ensuring it is kept segregated for staff versus your faculties. And automated workflow and onboarding email notifications, which help them to be having things more into the system and more alert-based approach that was being utilized. So that helped to reduce the overall timeline and improve the candidate experience. With that, let me move to the next slide and talk about what the solution approach that was taken. So having your core HR, which is your cloud HCM suite, and your Oracle Recruiting Cloud being implemented, where your workforce structures essentially has been shared. And from the transaction standpoint, once a candidate is onboarded as a pending worker, it seamlessly goes as a post-onboarding process to your cloud HCM, where it takes as a employee record and taken forward for your workforce management. And the seamless integration, it also helps where you not only like you can create job requisition publish on the internet and external career sites, which is a good visibility and tracking that it provides, but it also from the recruiting standpoint, the selected candidate will have the background screen with third-party vendors, integration, and you're also having your job offer released electronically to the candidate. And all these things which were implemented, it helped in reducing their overall time and getting more digitized or electronic in nature instead of having it as more as a paper-based approach of keeping the record keeping as well as your approval process. So with that, the outcome was really good. And I think one of the great aspects was not only just Oracle Recruiting Cloud, but I think the dashboards and the reporting which Oracle provided, it really helped to provide the visibility to make decisions in time and reduce the unwanted manual processes that were being used, and probably the process change that was being delayed, impacting that overall outcome for the HR department. So with that, I would like to hand it over to Sadik to talk about ORC journey. Over to you, Sadik.
Thank you, Hemal. Hello, everyone, once again. So we are going to discuss about ORC, the journey, which I would say, with starting from a job application to offer management, right? So any company, so whenever there is an opening in their any particular department, so mostly the job requisition is the first one which will be initiated, and then it subsequently move on to the next phases, and then finally once they get candidate selected, then finally the recruiter will offer them, right? So the same process we are gonna see into the Oracle application. Okay, so I'm gonna take you through and each slide with the application perspective, where you can have a clear idea how it works, move on from one stages to another stages actually. With that, I'm just gonna move to the first slide, which I'm gonna talk about the job requisition. The job requisition actually, which is a start from job, which involves multiple roles actually, example, right, who are all involved into this particular process. One is the main recruiter, and the second is the hiring manager. Then you can have a approval hierarchy, then you can involve the internal employee who's going to apply for the internal job, and then the external candidate who's going to apply for the post. The job is posting in the external side, the person is going to apply, right? We will look into that end-to-end process quickly, how it goes actually. Okay, so if you see that actually, so where you can see as line manager or as a hiring manager who's gonna initiate the job requisition, there are multiple ways, right? So one is like, you can either create using a blank requisition form, which you are seeing on the right side, okay, which you have the create requisition form where you can see multiple sections are available, which the hiring manager will determine like, what type of job requisition is going to be created, right? You have an option to select either the job based requisition template, or you can use a position based requisition template, or even the hiring manager can determine which is used earlier, the existing one, that is also can be copied actually. Okay, that functionality is available. So this is like, that even when the hiring manager is going to initiate this job requisition, then the recruiter can determine with like, how many sections can be filled by the hiring manager, and the rest of the section can be filled only by the recruiter. So that's the configurable, highly configurable in the system. Okay. Once the hiring manager is completed job requisition, then it can be sent it to an approval actually. Okay, based on the company business requirement, it can be sent it to a multiple business approval hierarchy, or it can be bypassed actually. So without any approval also, the job requisition can be initiated actually. And then once the job requisition is initiated, then the recruiter has completed all the processes actually, where like, he can determine the position can be posted internally or it can be posted externally. So that is actually applicable by the recruiter, whichever like, based on the business need. So they can determine, and then that can be posted. Okay, so this is the detailed description about the job requisition, which can be initiated by the recruiter as well as the hiring manager. With that, I'm going to move to the next slide, which we're going to talk about the candidate experience. So as I told you, like, there are two type of candidates. One is an internal employee, which we call it as well as the internal candidates. Okay. And we have the external candidate, which is like, the completely the outside of the person who's going to come to my career website, and then he's look for a job and he can apply, right? So let's talk about the internal candidate. The internal candidate, so where like, he can get in using the employee self-service using the Fusion application. He's already an employee of that particular company, where when he get into the system, there is an option available where he can go and view all the current jobs which is there in the particular company. Okay, you can see there are multiple sections are available, and you can see there is a job openings listed here actually, where there is a search page is available actually. Okay, so with that, they can search either giving the search key, or you can even click on the search button where all posted job will be visible in front of the candidate. Then he can determine which job to apply and which job to like, select actually. So if there is a case actually where like, the candidate, the internal employee has decided like, not, I mean, he saw some of the good jobs are available, but due to some time constraint, like, he don't wanted to apply. So those jobs he can mark it as favorite, where later point of time he can come and look into that those favorite jobs under this particular favorite job menus, right? And then we have something called job application. If as an internal employee, if I applied for any of the internal jobs, where like, he can once he applied, all those applied jobs can be viewed under the job application menu, right? And then we have the referrals actually. The referrals is nothing but as an internal employee. So if there is any job is posted with my company, so I can even refer to my other peers who might be related to that particular profile, or even I can refer the outside of my company using the particular option called referral. With that, I have something called the other menu is called offer job offers. So as an internal employee, I've applied for any of the job within my company and I got selected. If once I got selected, so I will be receiving a job offer. So those jobs offer can be seen under the job offers menu. Okay. Last but not the least, so we have a job alerts. The job alerts is give you the internal candidate if there is any related to his profile where he was looking for exactly when he mark as the job alert. So if any recruiters like send posted any new jobs, so as an internal employee, he can able to see all jobs which is relevant to his particular profile can be seen under the job alerts. So this is the particular feature about the internal candidate where he can have a wider access to view, and he can apply how he wanted. With that, I'm going to talk about the external candidates. The external candidates actually the people who are outside of my company. So where any job is posted by my recruiter, so that will the job will be visible in my external career site. Right, you can see there's a which is the external career site, which is available as example as an imagine the impossible, and there you can see there's the view all jobs. Right, as once the external candidate get into my external career site, he can click on this particular view all job where you can see all the jobs are which is posted that can be seen by the external candidate. Then he can determine which is relevant to his profile, and he can go and apply for that one. So there is a latest feature is available, which is you can see there is something called a small icon here, which is nothing but a chatbot. So I'm going to talk about little bit on the chatbot in the next slide. So let me move on to the next slide. Yeah. So here, so very exclusive to which we have a Oracle Digital Assistant to our ORC. Okay, so you have an integrate with ORC with digital assistant, where as an external candidate, when I get into the external career site, the system will give me an option to use this Oracle digital assistant, where as an external candidate I can search for any job by using the chatbot. So once I get, if I just started chatting with the chatbot, so the system will give me an option what all the jobs are available in within our company, what all is relevant actually. So example, you can see there is a jobs are available which is specific to administrative, human resources, managerial, customer service, marketing, production, and any. If his profile is relevant to HR, so you can see there are 7 jobs are available related to HR, and there are manager for 6, for customer services 1, and marketing 1, and production 1, and any. So if he decided which is relevant to his profile, so once he click on this particular human resources, so all 7 jobs can be seen by him, and whichever he's relevant, actually he can start applying for that particular page. That's how the Oracle Digital Assistant help an external candidate to apply using this option. So this is one of the finest feature which is available within ORC. With that, I'm going to move on to the next screen. Yeah. So this is hiring experience for the candidate sourcing specific to the recruiter and as well as the hiring manager. There are 4 ways which we can discuss one by one, which is nothing but when as a recruiter I'm going to sourcing the candidate, right? So one is the campaign, second is the candidate pool, third one is the create candidate profile, and fourth one is the prospect. Let me give you a little bit brief about what is campaign actually. As a recruiter, I can do a email marketing, okay, to get a specific employee either through any kind of a referrals or any kind of what you call the career fair, something like that actually. So by using the email marketing, so I can send all my social networking as well actually. Okay, so I'm just marketing using the email, then I'm just pushing it to my social network as well. So people started applying or using my email marketing. I even as a recruiter, I can have a track on who are applied those jobs using this email marketing. I can have a metrics and I can have a sources actually from which sources I've received these many candidates. So that is giving a big benefit of out of campaigns. With that, I'm moving to the next one, which is the candidate pool. A candidate pool is nothing but it's a grouping of candidate actually. So you can create one group saying for example, you wanted to create a candidate pool for HR, candidate pool for say finance, candidate pool for IT. So what you can group of all the candidates actually within ORC. So later point of time, you can use them as one of your what you call a group of candidate actually. Okay, so that helps you to easily sourcing your candidate. You don't need to multiple key outside of the system and then search for it. And the candidate pool can be secured either if you are the HR, so you don't want to see your candidate pool by other HR person, so you can create the candidate pool using the option called private or shared actually. If it is a shared, so the candidate pool can be viewed by other people. If you make it as private, so only the person who is going to create, so they only can be viewed. Let's move on to the next one. So which is we have a create candidate profile. So the create candidate profiles give you HR to quickly create a candidate actually. I can quickly create a candidate if somebody is going to give profile in your hand actually. So you got their profile and quickly you can create them in the system and you made them as a candidate. Then that particular candidate can be attached to your any job requisition. So that I wanted to make the process very quickly. So I don't need to wait person to go and apply from the Excel candidate. So not required. So that gives like no privilege to HR to create a candidate quickly within ORC. With that, I'm moving to the next process called prospect actually. What is mean a prospect actually, right? So if example, I have received multiple applications, okay, so where through either the referral or through like some kind of a job offer, fair or whatever it is actually, right? So what happened, like you got them application and then you put it in the system, and as a recruiter, I'm gonna send them an invite actually for them to apply through my external career site. So once they apply, they become an applicant. Before that, like when I create them as a manual process like in the system as a candidate, they call it as prospect. So all these features are available, and this is the way like the recruiter can search the candidate using these options available. With that, I'm going to move to the next screen, which we will talk about a candidate interview slot. This is one of the high feature available in ORC, which is like this particular option given it to the candidate, where the candidate itself can select the interview slot. For example, a recruiter has created a 5 days interview slot, which is example start from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., which like to each slot is like 45 minutes. Okay, so where Monday to Friday. So based on the candidate availability, he can go to his login and he can select by himself like which is the time slot, whichever time he's available. So that is a very big opportunity, like even like option given it to the candidate, where whenever he want he can go ahead and he can select his time slot actually based on his availability. Right. Once he select the availability, immediately he get a notification with the confirmation saying that like the particular time slot has been confirmed by the recruiter. So this is the one of the features. So with that, I'm going to move to the next screen, which we will talk about the candidate selection process. Okay, this is the process where where you can see if I applied for any job, so which I have as a candidate, as a recruiter, I need to take through a lot of process, right? Which starting from the new application, then you can see the screening, then you can see the interview and selection, then finally the offer. Right. So each phases like the recruiter and the hiring manager will decide how the candidate move on, right? So then it will based on the determination, so where they will determine which candidate moving to from new to screening, and after once the screening is completed, then he will be subsequently moved to the interview process, which is nothing but you can have a say telephonic interview process, you may have a face-to-face interview process. Once that is done, then you can move to the background verification. Right. So once the background verification is completed, then finally you will be rolling out the offer letter. Right. This is how the interview process will move on subsequently. With that, I will talk about the second slide, which I'm going to talk about the background verification. So just imagine the candidate got selected, all the telephonic interview, then say face-to-face interview, the candidate is perfect. Now we have to do a background verification. So ORC give you an option to integrate with your third-party vendors, example, background verification company, BGV vendors, and then you can have a assessment company. This is the placeholder where you will integrate your third-party vendors. So I don't have any live, so but this is where in the screen where you can integrate all your BGVs actually vendors, third-party vendors. So this will be for each employee where once the application process move on one by one, then finally you can just finish this particular background verification. Once you feel that the candidate once the background verification is completed, all the result will automatically will populate here actually in this particular screen. With that, the recruiter can determine, then the recruiter can get the feedback from the hiring manager whether to go for it, and then we can roll out the offer letter. So that's about it. Okay. Once the feedback is collected by the hiring manager, then the recruiter will initiate the job offer, which we are going to see in the next slide. So this is the offer management page where the on the right side you can see this is the page where the recruiter will initiate the job offer. So you can see there is a list of value where you can have a multiple job offer templates. Okay, whichever the job offer template which is you feel that you can have a multiple job offer templates. So the recruiter will initiate the job offer, then it can be sent it to the offer team. The offer team can just update all the hiring date of that particular employee. He can update the assignment information, contract details, joining bonus, annual leave entitlement, salary, etc., etc., etc. Once that is been updated, then it can be sent it for an approval. So it depends upon the company requirement that whether you wanted to route it to approval hierarchy or you wanted to bypass it. Once the offer letter is being initiated. So this is how you can, I just wanted to show you that this is going to be a preview of the job offer. Okay, this is the out of the box which is given by Oracle. So but we can create our own offer letter how we want it actually, right? So this is one of the sample which I wanted to show you. This is how it's going to look like the offer letter template. Then once the offer letter been approved by a specific approval hierarchy, then the recruiter will extend that particular offer letter to a candidate. Once the candidate is accept the job offer, then the recruiter will move this particular candidate from ORC model to core HR model. That's how the process gets entered. Okay. With that, I wanted to move to the next part, which is an onboarding. So very specifically, when I talk about onboarding, we have two things. One is the pre-onboarding and the post-onboarding. Okay, the onboarding is actually it's included within HCM, does not require any separate license or purchase. Okay, and this onboarding we use it like a functionality called checklist in within Fusion. Okay, it used in HR and it used in as well as in ORC model. Okay, and earlier we used to call actually onboarding, but now Oracle has from 21A release, they have changed it from onboarding to journey, which is the name called journey has been released actually. Okay, so when I wanted to talk about in the generic way, like what is mean by pre-onboarding and the post-onboarding, the pre-onboarding, which is nothing but you have roll out the offer letter, but the candidate is yet to join. Say maybe after 1 week or 10 days he's going to join, but before 10 days, you can send them some kind of notification with giving the access to the system to where candidate go and fill all the relevant application or uploading all the documents while anything actually. And even you can create some kind of a videos about your company before he could join, he can go through all the videos and he can know what is this company about. Okay, and then he get a message also that we are preparing for your day one arrival. So this is how it goes to the pre-onboarding. Okay, when I wanted to talk about post-onboarding, the day candidate join, he will be converted from a pending worker to an employee, right? Where you can set some kind of activities for the employee where he has to initiate, and maybe he has to go and sign kind of an NDA, or he may have to update some kind of a personal information. So all those can be done using the post-onboarding. Then you can even initiate some kind of a manager specific activity for the candidate. Okay, example, if this is the employee, his line manager can initiate some of the activities using the post onboarding checklist. The same way you can do it even initiated for the HR admin, access benefit, admin, onboarding sponsors. So all these people can do some kind of activities using this particular post onboarding. So this is highly configurable, and this is one of the finest option available in Fusion. So where you can utilize this. With that, I'm going to move to the next screen, which we are going to talk about ORC integration. I talked about ORC integration where we have a third-party vendors. Example, we have BGV vendors, we have assessment vendors. So all those we can see in the next slide. So this is the it just give you a little bit background how you can see I have a HCM cloud here sitting here where my cloud-based HCM is the core HR module, and then I have a subsequent model which is the offering is nothing but a ORC, and then there are BGV third-party vendors. So from ORC, I'm just integrating with BGV partners, I'm integrating with my job boards, and then I'm integrating with my assessment side. Right, so I'm just pushing it all my data to these people, and then once they finish, they will send it back to my ORC model where all the information will be updated here. If I wanted to access this ORC, so obviously I have user experience, which is nothing but I'm going to use web services, which is I can handle it, and then I can even see all my candidate interview slot, everything using the Microsoft Office. So this is the integration landscape, I would say, from which is core HR to ORC and ORC to your all third-party vendors, how we are integrating. With that, I'm going to move to the next screen, which I will talk about very specific ORC analytics and dashboard. I can show you some of the out-of-the-box dashboard, which is given by Oracle, which I can show you. Okay, you don't need to even create your own custom dashboards or reports, which Oracle itself is given some kind of a out-of-the-box. So this is the first dashboard which I wanted to talk about. You can see this is the dashboard on the top. You can see there are multiple tabs are available, which is a requisition, application and selection and offer, and then hires. You can keep move on the right side. Just if you wanted a specific kind of a dashboard, then the system will give you an option to see what is the detail. On the left side, you have multiple filters, which you can use these filters to check this particular dashboard, how the result is. If I want to talk about this particular requisition summary, you can see it shows how many open requisitions are available, then how many average requisitions actually, and then the requisitions are open, how many actually. There are 477.2 and days to fill and posting actually. Okay, it gives you in the pictorial way where it will be highly useful for your management actually, right? So this is the requisition snapshot, which it gives you the top 10 openings to be filled actually. You can even view by the department wise, then you can even view by the you can see there is a show view, which you can even save with the graphical mode, or you can even save with the table view actually. So this is highly configurable. You can just move on how you want it actually. And on the right side, you can see the requisition aging. This is also you're given the option to view by the graphical view, or you can even change it to table view. And this is how the system gives you this requisition is aging is how many are 0 to 30 days, 31 to 60 days, and 61 to 90 days, and 91 to 20 days, so on. So this is how the system give you what kind of a requisition is pending actually, and what is the progress. With that, I'm going to move to the next slide, which I'm going to talk about. The next is tab, which is it talks about the candidate summary. Okay, as I said, you have a left side on the filters where you can check how you want it, and then you can see there are 10 top application sources where you can see from which sources you have received the application. So you can see there's an agency referral, there's a candidate search, external career site. That's how you can able to see in the picture. And on the right side, you can see there's a 10 jobs attracting candidates. How you can see, either you can see by the job, or you can see even by the job family. All those things you can see in here. And then you can even change this candidate, whether this particular candidate, either it is an internal candidate or an external candidate. How you can see when you change it, between external and internal, the system give you the result automatically. Okay. With that, I'm going to move to the next slide, which I'm going to show you about the selection and offer. So the selection and offer, so which is give you it just give you a diversity in process where you can see the selection process has based on the diversity, whether it's a male, and then you can see in the way of funnel, and then in the list view actually. So this is how you can see how it goes actually. So one, screening, interview, selection, offer, and HR. So you can see the percentage which is available in the system, and then you can even change how you want it actually. And then you can see the selection process versus internal and external, where it give you, again, you can change as per you want the candidate is an internal candidate or the external candidate. How you wanted to change the result also will change automatically here in the system. With that, I want to move to the next slide, which is give you analysis report for the hiring actually. The hire analysis by the application flow actually. The application flow, which is nothing but you have an external application flow, then you have an external with a non-US diversity, healthcare, internal apply, and the mobile challenge. So there are different type of application flows are available, and you can see the output how based on the external application, the process actually how it goes. Here also you given the show view where you can change it to graph, or you can even change it to in detail, right? So with that, okay, you have even option on the down. You can see there is a print option available where you can print it how you want it. Even you can export it, and then you can add it to the briefing book actually. So those are option available readily. So you don't need to even create a custom actually. By using this one, you can do how you want it. With that, I wanted to move to the next slide, which is the last slide of the dashboard. We have a hiring. So the system give you a wider picture, how many there's a new hire, then how many it's an internal hire, and what is the internal rate, and then time to hire, and then processing it. And here it gives you the wider picture that what type of the application, number of application, then the hire is, and then hire it actually. And then you can even see there is a 10 previous employees for the hires. Then this is also options is given. So wherever you want, you can change according by using the filters. The system will automatically change how you change it. Yeah, with that, I'm moving to the next slide. This is the BI report where you can create if you have a multiple templates, the job of a template, you can create how you want it actually. So these templates will be created using the BI report. So this is highly configurable. We can move on, we can create this actually. With that, I'm moving to the next screen. Okay, I just wanted to give a quickly comparative between your Talayo and versus ORC. So I won't take you too much, so I'll just pick few. So what is Taleo recruiting has and which Oracle does not have, or Oracle ORC has, which is Taleo does not have. So the chatbot option is available only with ORC, but we don't have with the Taleo, right? And I show you the choose interview slot, which is that available in ORC, but we don't have in Taleo. The same way we have for the job requisition with video, we have available. It is available in ORC, but it does not available in Taleo. So this is the few are available which we wanted to show the comparisons between the Taleo recruiting as well as ORC. With that, I wanted to move to the next slide, which is the implementation consideration. Okay, as a customer, when you go and decide you wanted to go and implement in your implement ORC in your company, so what are the key things which you wanted to decide? You need to determine which one. So you can decide what is your current process which can be fit into ORC or not. That you can determine first, and then you can decide what is the ORC currently roadmap is available and what is there in the future, and whether that will fit into your particular process or not. That can be decided yourself. And then you can decide whether you wanted to integrate with your third party. If you wanted to have say you wanted to integrate with your job boards, with the BGV on assessment, then you can decide before you move on to this. Okay. Then if you have a more than one legal entity, you can decide you wanted to have a different career site for each location or each legal entities. You can decide, then you can move on. And then we have the approval hierarchy, whether you wanted to create an approval hierarchy for the job offers and for the job requisition, then you can decide, then you can move on. So then you wanted to opt for the digital assistant or not, then you can, this is also your decision making. And yeah, that's about actually, I wanted to give you a highlight, so not to take more actually. So with that, I wanted to hand it over to Hemal. So Hemal, you can move on. Thanks.
Sure. Thanks, Sadik. So, yeah, thanks for the presentation. So here we are close to concluding our presentation. So a couple of quick things. One is for all the attendees who have joined today's webinar, we have got a special offer, which is a complimentary assessment of recruitment and HCM business process solution with future transformation roadmap. So this assessment is going to be complimentary without any cost. And if you would like to opt for it, please feel free to reach out to Melody and Doug. Their email IDs are provided here. They're part of our NexInfo sales team, so feel free to reach out to them. This offer is, or this promotional offer is available till the end of this month. And with that, would also like to inform on the Ascent event that's coming up. So moving to the next slide. So Oracle is having Ascent 2021, which is from August 15th to 18th in Hollywood, Florida. And you can see us NexInfo speaking on the topic unsure about moving to cloud, test drive the cloud with Oracle EPM's planning and budgeting, which is scheduled for 16th of August. So with that, we would like to open the forum for question and answers. And Sadik, you may just want to move to the next slide just to show the contact if anybody has got any questions. So with that, Amelia, over to you for any questions which attendees have got, if you can share and let us know.
Awesome. It looks like we do have one question so far, which I'll go ahead and address and maybe give some of our attendees some time to enter in their own questions. Just put it into the chat here. So the question says, Himal referred to a recruit to hire dashboard. Is this a delivered OTBI dashboard in Oracle ORC, or was this a custom dashboard that was developed?
So the dashboard which I think Sadik had showcased, yeah, that's a Oracle delivered dashboard, which is part of the Oracle Recruiting Cloud product. It's not a custom dashboard. You can always have an option if you want to tweak it, but what was showcased is a delivered dashboard. Sadik, you want to add anything to that?
Yes, thanks. What happened actually, there are out-of-the-box dashboards are available. What Oracle give us privilege to copy from the any demo instance, and then we can even upload it in our video instance, which is nothing but a client instance. So that option is available in the system. So I mean, yeah, it is out-of-the-box dashboards.
Great. Okay. Question 2. I'm working on getting this into the chat, but it says on the job offer approvals, if one approver is in chain and the other, if one approver in chain is on vacation, are there WF vacation delegation rules available in ORC/HCM so that job recs are not stuck waiting?
No, it is available. We can do that.
And just to add to that, so if person is on vacation for X number of days, so you can set it up for the X number of days. If a person is on vacation for 1 week, so for that start date and end date, you can have the delegation being done.
And how much does time, or excuse me, how much time does it take to implement ORC?
So the Oracle Recruiting Cloud, so typically, again, depending on the scope, if you recollect the slide which Sadik was showcasing the key implementation considerations, right? So depending on the scope and the number of integrations, typically the duration may be ranging from as small as 2 months to be live, or it can also go to 4 months. So again, depending on what is the scope involved from that standpoint. But typically, being on cloud, it should be much faster for you to get live into the production.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Mal and Sadiq. You can go ahead and keep on putting in more questions, attendees, if you have any. Also, as a reminder to everyone, we'll be posting this recording along with the slide deck in the knowledge base, which is available to our OATUG members by tomorrow. And I'm going to go ahead and post a link right now into the chat about our Ascend conference coming up next month in August.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. And I think if you got any questions, you can drop an email also to letstalk@nexinfo.com. And we'll be happy to respond to all your questions.
Great. Well, thank you so much, you guys. Yes, there are no more questions at this time. So I want to give you guys a huge thank you for an awesome presentation of this e-learning to our community. And that will conclude today's webinar. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and hope everyone has a great rest of their week.